purchased this building in 2001. It was our fourth location because we had kind of outgrown all of our previous locations. Our student numbers were getting bigger. We didn't have enough room. So we started looking around Romeo for a place that could accommodate a large number of students. And we found it was really difficult to find a place that wasn't divided into small rooms or didn't have columns down the middle. We needed a really large open space. So we tried to find something in downtown. The only thing we could find originally was more of an industrial building, but that wasn't exactly the atmosphere we were looking for. So we found out that this building was going to go up for sale and came in and purchased it and started the renovations on it. It was in really bad condition when we bought it because it had originally been a church. It was a Baptist church that was built in 1853, but the church had moved out several years earlier, and it had been used for a few years as an aerobic studio, but they had not really kept up the maintenance or done anything to the building. So when we got into it, it was in really, really bad condition. The whole building pretty much needed to be renovated. Because it's a historic building, it's the oldest church in Romeo. We did have to stick with a lot of the original details, like the original windows and doors, and everything had to be kept the same. So it was definitely a challenge to renovate it to meet our needs while still keeping the historic value of it at the same time. Nobody really knows why I wanted to start taking karate, because I started asking for classes when I was so young. Probably about 3 or 4 years old, I started asking my parents if I could take lessons. And they don't know where I'd ever heard of it because there was no cable TV, there was no internet at that time. They don't remember me ever seeing it anywhere. So they wouldn't sign me up for a long time. And then when I was 12, my uncle had just started taking classes, so I went to a class with him and of course asked my parents if I could join, and they finally agreed to let me at 12 years old. So I started then and just kept going and fell in love with it and have been doing it ever since. We don't really have a typical student. We have so many different types of students that come from different places. The majority of our students do come from the Romeo area, but we have many that travel quite a distance, up to 45 or 50 minutes away, to come to classes here.
Karate has taught me to be a stronger person. It's taught me self-discipline and self-defense.
It was really difficult to start my own business, especially this particular business, because when I first started, it was in the 80s, and at that time martial arts were a sport that was really dominated by men, mostly in their 20s and 30s. It was very rare for a female to be in the martial arts, and especially to teach the martial arts. When I started, I was the first female black belt that my instructor had ever had, and the youngest black belt he had ever had. So when I wanted to start the business, I was only 17, and I was still in high school. I decided I wanted to start teaching, and it was difficult at first because the students that I was getting were men in their 20s and 30s who didn't always really want to learn something like karate from a female. So there was a struggle to gain their respect and overcome sort of their preconceived notions about what a female black belt was like. So that was my biggest struggle starting, but that same year, the Karate Kid movie also came out. So that really helped because a lot of younger kids started joining and sort of changed the whole future of the martial arts. I would encourage really everyone to get involved in the martial arts somehow. I think it's great for everybody. For kids, it helps them with their focus, their concentration, their discipline. Really makes a huge difference for kids as they're going through school. It helps them with their schoolwork. For older students, it really can be a great stress reliever. Also, of course, the self-defense benefit as well. Makes you feel a little more confident, like you can handle yourself. I would love to see a day where all girls, especially high school girls, are required to take some kind of martial arts, even at the high school level in the schools, because I think it's really important before young girls go off to college and start getting jobs that they have some self-defense skills and really feel like they can protect themselves if they ever need to.